All right, welcome to the first video in this video series where I teach you guys how to throw the deep ball, how to throw one-play touchdowns against every coverage, 3, 6, 9, 4, 2, 0 blitz, doesn't matter. I'm going to show you how. This is the first video. If you like the sound of that type of content, like and subscribe, and I'll be dropping the videos over the next several days and weeks. This first video, we're going to go over bombing cover 3. We're starting with arguably the easiest coverage to bomb. Maybe cover 2 is easier, but cover 3 can be quite easy too. So we're going to start with cover 3 here in this video. All right, let's dive in. So what you see on screen here is a classic cover 3 look. I mean, technically this could be cover 1 man, but I play online, I play regs. Most people do not run cover 1. You see a lot of cover 3 though. And so whenever I see this look, I'm assuming it's cover 3. And that is backed off corners on the outside. You can see the corners are backed off almost 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. And then the single high safety is the biggest tell. You got one safety in the deep middle of the field that's protecting anything deep. And so when you hike the ball, and so in order to be able to bomb coverage, guys, you need to be able to read safety rotation and read safeties post snap. Now that when my mentor told me that, I was like, I'll never be able to do that. It happens too fast. It actually, in this, I'm going to demystify it in this video. You will be able to read safeties after this video series, and it's going to open up the entire field for you. You're going to be throwing for 1,000,000 yards a game once you're able to do this. Okay. You just got to recognize how safeties behave when they're in specific coverages. All right. So let's start with cover 3. It's the easiest to identify. So cover 3, this is our deep middle zone. And so how does he behave? When he's in a cover 3, he jogs backwards in a straight line, just like this. Right. That's it. It's very easy to identify. Backwards, straight line, that's cover 3. Right? So post snap, we see the look. We say, okay, this looks like cover 3. We can verify it in half a second after we snap the ball. Does the middle safety jog backward in a straight line? Yes, like that. Like we literally just got the ball in our hands and we can already tell it's cover 3 because he goes backwards in a straight line. Cover 3, that means we know that the corners are in deep thirds and the middle is in a deep blue zone. Now, this basic cover 3 shell is hard to throw the ball deep down the middle of the field. Some people can complete these seam throws. For whatever reason, I just can't do it. I've seen people do it and props to them. But I've seen people throw these seam throws and yeah, I can't do it. So it is hard to throw deep against this look down the middle. However, look at all this grass over here. You have all of this grass. You can throw the deep ball too. Because when we see this cover 3 look, which is the single high safety, we can run the corners off into outer space. Outer space meaning like we can make it so they're no longer, where'd my little icon thing go? They're no longer like in the play, essentially. We can just run them off. And how do you run them off? Well, you just throw a streak at them. And they have to respect the streak. Like they can't not guard the streak or else they give up a touchdown. So, I mean, look, we just ran him off. So now we have all this space underneath because we ran him off the board with a simple streak. So how do we take advantage of that? Well, we run him off and then we run a route into this area of the field. So what would get into that area of the field? A corner would get in that area of the field. A crosser would get in that area of the field. Maybe even a slant from the other side of the field. That would all attack that grass over there on that side of the field. Same thing on the other side. Like we ran him off the field. Look at all the space over top of the purple. This is the purple. Over top of the purple, underneath the deep blue. It's just a bajillion yards of, it's just grass. It's just green grass. So that's the area that you would attack That's the area that you would attack, right? So let me back out. I'm going to show you guys. So right now we're attacking cover 3 on the sidelines. Then we're going to get into cover 3 down the middle. And then I'll probably wrap it up for this video. Let's do Y cross, and I'll just do it against cover 3 sky. Okay, so, and so yeah, all right, here we go. We got the classic cover 3 look, the single high safety. We hike the ball. He goes straight back in a line. Boom. All right, we're good because he's going to run him off into outer space, and we're going to take a sack, and I'll show you guys. All right, so cover 3, right? We're like, okay, hike. Does the safety back up in a straight line? Yes. Boom. All right. This is cover 3. We're running him off in outer space because we have a streak. So we're clearing space underneath him for the crossing route that we know will attack that space after we run off the corner. And this is our crosser. So we run off the corner. He has to run with that route. And then he just gets into a nice wide open pocket right here for a deep ball. All right. And you can do this on either side of the field. You can do it on the other side of the field if you want. Okay. You could do something like this. That way you would have both sides of the field as an option. So you can technically, we have 2 pull routes that is going to pull the corners deep. We're going to just run them in an outer space, and then we're going to have all of that space underneath them to throw either corner. Look at that. Either corner is wide open. They're wide open, either corner. I don't know if I got to show a replay of that. I think that was pretty clear, but we can take a look at the all 22. So we have the pull routes running the corners off in outer space. And then we have the crossing routes that run into they're wide open underneath the corners. We can throw it for 30, 40 yards there. Okay. So that is how you bomb cover 3 zone, right? Now, what if it's cover 3 match though? And what match is I think of match as just delayed man coverage. Against cover 3, let me select a cover 3 match. All right, let's hike the ball. It looks like cover 3, right? Singles high safety. We hike the ball. He goes back in a straight line, but the players are running with the routes. The defenders are running with the route. Whereas zone, they didn't. Zone, they guard a space. In zone, it is cover 3 zone. I like to think of cover 3 zone as like, it essentially functions like cover 1. Okay. Essentially, there are some differences, but essentially it works as like cover 1. And so kind of like cover 1. And so they carry them all the way up the field. They match into like a man coverage. Right? So if we were to do the bomb, the corner, the crossing route bomb against cover 3, and then we hike the ball. One thing about match coverage, and one of the reasons why I don't like it, is that it's inconsistent. Like the players don't behave the same way, play to play. I don't like to run a ton of match, but some people love it. All right, so if we do the crossing routes, we can see that for whatever reason the left side crosser didn't get matched, so that actually was open late. But the right side crosser did match. That's what I mean by inconsistent. The right side crosser did match, so that wasn't open. And so it's too inconsistent to depend on like a bomb there. I mean, I guess you can run the double crossers, but like, who knows? Maybe both will match. Maybe neither will match. I don't know. But single high safety, straight back in a line. He's running straight back in a line. The corner, they're matching over the top. So the main thing to take away from that is The safety in the middle of the field dropping back in a straight line. That is a tell that this is cover 3. That's just what I want you to take away from. The safety in the middle of the field backs up in a straight line. This is cover 3. Now, I'm going to show you guys how you can bomb it for a one-play touchdown. So in the NFL, college football, one-play touchdowns happen on busted coverage, right? Busted coverage. Someone didn't go to the correct spot. There was a miscommunication. It was I don't know, busted but that's when one-play touchdowns happen. It's no different in college football. One-play touchdowns happen against busted coverage, and that typically happens most frequently against cover 3 that's disguised as something else. So I'm going to go in, and luckily for us, this happens all the time in college football. So I'm going to select random cover 3. Okay, this isn't disguised as anything but cover 3 because we have the one high safety. We hike the ball, straight line back, we know cover 3. Okay, let's take a look at the next play. Same thing, one high safety, straight line back, it's cover 3. Okay, Jesus, dude. Let's get rid of the ball. All right, so I'm in random cover 3. However, in this game, there's a lot of cover 3s that look like something else. So pre-snap, you would look at this and say this is cover 2 zone. That's what you would say pre-snap. And if you weren't adept at reading safeties post-snap, you would be screwed after you hiked the ball and you didn't read the safeties because they're going to rotate into something else. So anyway, I want to show you guys something here. I'm going to hike the ball. All right. So I was able to complete that pass solely because I read safeties post-snap. All right. So there's pre-snap reads and there's post-snap reads. And to throw the ball deep, you have to be able to do both. Pre-snap, you make your best educated assessment what the defense is in. Post-snap, you verify. And that verification happens in like 0.5 seconds. Okay? And it's totally based on how the safeties rotate. So we have two high safeties. Two high safeties, right? I hike the ball. You see one drops down. This guy drops down. He drops down and he kind of stays put. And then it turns out that he rotates to the deep middle. He's actually the deep middle defender. Because of this creates a busted coverage every time. Because he rotates down and he stops and he stays put. And I got a super fast guy in the slot. He's going to outrun that defender. And I have a bomb. I have a potential one-play touchdown. Because this guy is rotating toward the middle on the other side of the field, he's never going to get to this streak in time because he has just more ground to cover. Whereas before, if he was just in the middle of the field, he would be in position to defend that. He can't. So he rotates down into a hook curl. His responsibility isn't taking anything deep. Pause. Number 4 here, he's just running a streak. He's like a 96 speed. This guy's from the other side of the field. You're just not going to be able to run with him. That is when the one-play touchdowns happen against cover 3. When cover 3 is disguised as something else, you have bomb potential. On the field right now, it's not disguised as anything else. He's just going to back up straight line, boom. Like, there's nothing really interesting about that. That's just basic cover 3. Again, back up, straight line, basic cover 3. You can try the seams there. I don't really, whatever. Again, cover 1, straight line back. He's right there in the middle of the field. Okay, now I'm only getting single high safety looks when there's a ton of 2 high safety looks. Okay, here we go. We got one. So pre-snap, you look at this and you're like, this isn't cover 3, or excuse me, this isn't, you're saying this isn't cover 3. This is something else. But then you hike the ball and you're immediately looking at the safeties to see what they do. Let's watch the safeties. Oh, he drops it down. Holy crap, I might have this bomb. Boom. I might have that streak. I'm in 4 verts, by the way. I'm in 4 verts just because it's fun. Okay. So, again, it was the same thing, right? Like, because they gave us an exotic look, it creates a busted coverage. So like the rotation, the rotation is, he comes down and he stops. That tells us, oh, he's a hook girl. He's not that's not a deep blue. So where the hell is the deep blue? The deep blue is way over here. He's trying to rotate over, but he's not going to be able to rotate in time to take care of this because we're running a streak. And so we just run right by him. You know, we miss tackle and it's a touchdown. Same thing here. You would come out, you're not thinking cover 3. This looks like something else, but you're going to verify it post snap by looking to see what the safeties do. All right, this time they rotate the other way. We can try this tight end. Oh, we got him. Oh shit. Yeah, there you have it. And so like then there's your one broken tackle away from a touchdown. All because we're reading the safeties after the snap. So this time the rotation happened on the other side. The first couple times the rotation happened on the left side, but this time it happens on the other side of the field. So that's why we throw the tight end streak. We hike the ball and we instantly can see, all right, left side rotates to the deep middle. That's the deep blue. And the other one on this side, he's actually the corner. Him. Wait, I'm not on him. Anyway, yeah, this guy. He is the corner. So then look at this. Then it just leaves him wide open, and so that's throwable. So look at it again in slow motion. Boom. I'm looking. I instantly know this is cover 3 because I can see someone rotating to take the deep middle. What's happening on the other side? He has to vacate the seam to take care of that streak. I can throw the seam, and then you're one broken tackle away from a touchdown for, what is that, 70, 80 yards. So this is how the one-play touchdowns happen. One-play touchdowns happen on busted coverage. Luckily for us, cover 3 has a lot of two high safety looks, and more often than not, that's always going to create a busted coverage. You just have to have a streak on the field to take advantage. This is just, single high. He's going to back up in a straight line. That's just sound cover 3. All right. Pre-snap, we're like, okay, what is this? This looks like cover 4. We hike the ball. Oh, they rotate. That is not cover 4. He came down. Bam. What is that? 50 yards. It's thunderstorming here. So if you guys hear that thunder, he comes down. We're just looking at the safety, and you only need to glance this. You don't need to stare it down. You just glance it post snap. Like, oh shit, that's not a corner. That's not a deep blue. If he was a deep blue, he would drop back into his zone like this. He's not dropping back into his zone. He came down. And then when you see that, you're like, okay, someone's out of position. Someone's out of position. Single high safety, straight back in a line. Good for him. Sound cover 3, foundational cover 3. You can't really bomb that, like I said, unless you go to the sidelines and run off the corners. I'll show you guys again, just because it's been a little bit. You can just do something like this, run off the corners, and then you can do that. And so what you could do is you can have something like this. So if it's cover 3 zone, you can throw the deep crosser. If it's cover 3, if it's like a cover 3 with the 2 high safeties like this is, hopefully the rotation happens on the right side, but then you can potentially, okay, yeah, it did. Oh, wow. That middle high played that very well. Yeah. So anyway, Look, let's do this last one, and then I'll end the video. So we walk to the line. We're reading this. What is this? This looks like palms. This looks like cover 4 palms. All right. Post snap. Boom. This is not palms. Look at how they rotated. That is not palms coverage. We read the safeties, and because we're reading the safeties post snap, we can throw it deep. Because we saw at the hike of the ball, he didn't drop back into a deep zone. That's what you're looking for. Who didn't drop back into a deep zone? Who didn't behave the way they thought they would behave? He didn't. Well, he did, but he's an outside corner. But he has to vacate the seam, and we can throw that all day. You know what I'm saying? So that is how you bomb cover 3. Cover 3 is one of the easiest plays to bomb when it's not this look. This look here, very hard to bomb. This is like sound foundational. Cover 3 is just hard to bomb unless you target the sideline, unless you target a crosser. It's just very difficult. You can take a shot at the seams, but it's a very tight throw. You're threading the needle there. When you come out and you see this look, it's always worth taking 0.2 seconds after the snap to just glance at the safeties to see how they behave and if there was anything you could exploit. It's always worth it because safeties often rotate in cover 3. It's always worth it. All right, I ended up taking a sack, but I would have had that seam streak there because he rotated. Okay. All right, so I'll end this video before it gets too long. So that's cover 3, reading the safeties rotations in cover 3. And this is going to set the foundations for all the other videos. So what I taught you here, that safety rotation, we're going to see, I'll do cover 2 in the next video, cover 2 zone. I'm going to show you guys how cover 2 zone looks. So then you can recognize when your opponent, when they rotate into like a cover 2 zone versus a cover 3, which is just going to open up the field for you even more. My goal is at the end of this series, you'll be able to read safeties in 0.3 seconds after the snap to see if you have a deep ball available. The beautiful thing about this is that it's going to open up the field for you, and it's going to open up new route combinations. It's going to open up new plays that you probably thought were just ass are now going to be now viable because you're like, well, if the safeties rotate this way, this is going to be open deep. Anyway, hopefully this video was helpful. If you guys like this video, check out the links in the description. My defensive ebook is up. It's out. Offense is going to be coming soon. Like and subscribe. This is just the first video in the how to throw the deep ball series. I'll see you guys in the next one.